So let me adjust this camera so you can see what I'm about to say to show you. So if you have a pillow lying around somewhere in your apartment, please grab it. And there's two options for you today. We will be either sitting back on our heels to begin with. So nice comfortable pose like this. You can use the pillow. Place it underneath your knees if your knees are bothering you, or if you feel like you're crushing your feet behind you, you can place them underneath the tops of your feet, or even sit back on this pillow here, which is going to take away some of that pressure from the tops of your feet. So options to begin with. Once you find a comfortable seat, you can go ahead and rest your palms in your lap. Let's have our palms facing up this time and pull your hands gently back so your elbows are next to your side. I know all of this is very particular, but hi Anya, welcome. But it's important. So we're just getting started. Hi everyone, ciao Miro, welcome. We're just kicking off our class, so please come to sit on your mat. Find a nice comfortable seat. And whenever you're ready, relaxing your palms on your lap, you can go ahead and close your eyes. We're starting today in this nice little kneeling pose. If this is really troublesome for your shins or your knees, we are going to stay here for a couple of minutes. Feel free to come and sit in a cross-legged pose. But for now, try to find a length in this pose. Okay, as you are finding that nice comfortable seat, notice if there's a lot of roundness with your spine or if you're tilting forwards or backwards. Actually, keeping your eyes closed, go a little bit forward and see how that feels when you press all of your weight against your shin bones, and go a little bit back and see how that feels when you press and sit all the way back. And then find a place in the middle. Ideally, you want both of your sit bones to be on top of your heels. And then from there, try to pull your belly in slightly towards your spine. Open your chest and grow tall through the top of your head. Grow as a tree towards the sky. Without introducing any tension, without squeezing any muscles. It's more that like imaginary length you're getting. It's more of an alignment essentially. We are aligning our spine with the rest of our body, and that gets us to be in this nice stable pose. And then from here, in yoga we try to breathe through our nose only, so try to inhale and exhale through your nose if possible. Nice long deep inhalations, nice long deep exhalations. Equal fluctuations of the breath, also referred to in yoga in Sanskrit as samavritti. If you want to create that little sound at the back of your throat, you may do so at this stage. It sounds something like this, a little bit more amplified. Continue at your own pace, making those little sounds with your breath. We're going to stay here for roughly 5 more rounds of breath. I'm going to play some music in the meantime. Great work, you guys. This is the basis of your practice, especially if you're new to yoga. I know this is not the most exciting piece. You don't want to spend a lot of time here, but in some of the traditional schools of yoga, if you were to come to a yoga class and you're a beginner, this is where you would sometimes spend the majority of your class. We're not going to do this today, I promise, but it's just good to set the stage. Okay. With the next exhalation, you can go ahead and open your eyes. Kind of maybe roll your shoulders a little bit, backwards and forwards, relax into your practice. Shake off your wrists in your hands. Change a pose, go into more of a cross-legged pose. We are going to start with some warm-ups for our neck. So in yoga, if you're new to yoga, we always do in these vinyasa classes. Vinyasa just means flow, moving through poses with our breath. We always start these classes with a little bit of warm-up. So first, inhale, bring your right hand towards the ceiling, place it over the left side of your head, left temple, and then pull slightly towards the right shoulder without introducing too much pressure. So right hand over the left temple, and then the left fingertips are reaching for the side. So move your left hand away from you a little bit, and you can play with that angle. It can be, further away. It can be very close to your body. Your fingertips of the left hand are reaching down. And of course, you don't want to go for max effort here, okay? In yoga, we are walking that line in between like 4, 5, 6 out of 10, right? We don't want to go beyond that line. So you should feel a really nice release towards the left side of your neck. With the next exhalation, keep your head where it is. Don't spring out of this pose. Release the right hand down and use your left hand to cradle the right side of your face and bring it back to center, okay? Inhale, the left arm reaches for the ceiling. Place it over the right temple. Bring it closer towards the left shoulder. And left shoulder here is, we're actually bringing the left ear towards the left shoulder. It's not actually going to touch the left shoulder, but it's just a visual to know where in space we are placing our head. We don't want to tilt our head forward or any of that weird action. We want to keep our chest open, shoulders relaxed, and then the left side of your head is reaching for that left shoulder, and then the right fingertips are moving away from you. Extend the right fingertips. This is really important component, stretching that connective tissue, primes your right side of your neck. 2 more rounds of breath here. Excellent work. With the next exhalation, release the hand first, then cradle your head with the right hand, bring it back to center. From center, exhale, bring your chin to your chest, look down. So tuck your chin slightly, keeping your chest open, so we're not rounding our spine to bring our chin down. The chest is open and proud. We're tucking our chin towards our chest. If you start changing your voice like this, like I just did there for a second, it means that we're probably passing the threshold. So if you start sounding something like this, take it down a notch. You can say something at in your own home and see, test it if you overdid it. 2 more rounds of breath here. Inhale, back to center. One last stretch with the neck. Inhale, look towards the ceiling. Really feel that extension through the front part of your neck. There's a lot of big, strong muscles here and arteries. One last breath here. It's a little bit difficult to talk in this pose. It's great to also get release. Inhale, come back to center. Awesome work, you guys. If you're sitting back on your heels and have some props, remove them. This feels so good to work on our neck. We hold so much tension because we are in Western society. This is our culture, right? We are all shrugging over our computers, our cell phones, even the books we read. It's all in this forward tilted posture. So it's our neck that's always kind of upward facing, and there's so much more tension. Okay, come to a nice tabletop. I'll stop going on my rant here. Press your hands into the mat. They're directly underneath your shoulders, your knees directly underneath your hips. Externally rotate your arms so the pits of your elbows are facing forward. Okay, there's a little bit of torque you're applying into the mat, and then push the mat away from you. Okay, so this is an active tabletop as opposed to being just here. We are externally rotating, pressing away. And then inhale, extend your spine, look towards the ceiling. Exhale, round the spine, look towards the navel, come into your cat tilt. Inhale, come up. Exhale, look down. One more time. Inhale to come up. Exhale. Look down. Awesome work. Come back to neutral. I'm going to give you options here to warm up our abs. So inhale, lift off your knees off the mat while maintaining that strong press into the mat and externally rotating your arms. Tuck your tailbone slightly. So don't have this, we're not here, we are here. Okay. If you want to play, maybe press into left foot, bring off the right one off the mat, press into the right one, bring the left one off the mat. Do this a couple of more times. Challenging your balance here as well. 3 more times each side. And awesome. Release your knees on the mat. Sit back on your heels. Come into child's pose. Open your knees as wide as your mat. This is a little bit of a modern version of child's pose, not sitting on our knees, but opening our knees as wide as our mat, extending through our fingertips, releasing our forehead on the mat. Go back to that inflow and outflow of your breath from the beginning of the class. But extend through fingertips. Don't just collapse your elbows here and your whole body. It's an active child's pose. There's a difference. You're pressing the mat away from you, extending through your fingertips, getting a lot of release in your left and right side body here. And then inhale, bring your forehead off the mat and pull the ground and mat towards you while you bring your chest forward. Bring your feet close together, tops of the feet and tops of the thighs are on the mat. Your hands are next to your side. Inhale, rise into Cobra, or just peel off your chest off the mat into Baby Cobra if you're still warming up. Let's actually all take Baby Cobra, sorry. So let's come into a Baby Cobra, just lifting off our chest off the mat. And then inhale back up into a tabletop. Reposition your hands. Look at your hands here. Curl your toes behind you. And while you're looking at your hands, make sure your index fingers are parallel with the edges of the mat. The middle fingers are reaching for the corners of the mat. The fingers are spread wide. You're pressing firmly into all the knuckles of your hands. You're lifting off your knees off the mat like we just did a moment ago, and then from here we're bringing our hips towards the ceiling, pressing firmly into all the knuckles of our hands, keeping our knees bent. Come into this variation of downward facing dog. We are on our toes, our heels are off the mat, the knees are bent. And then last thing, gaze over towards your knees here. Check your feet, make sure they're no wider than your hips. Get a nice long extension through your back here. And then exhale. Press the knees back to your mat. Open knees as wide as the mat. Sit back into child's pose. Active child's pose. Extending through your fingertips. We'll do 2 more rounds of this as a part of our warm-up. Learning some and focusing some of the basics. And I know some of you guys on the Zoom or Instagram, you're really advanced and you've been practicing for a while. Try to find ways to refine your pose by focusing on the basics. Inhale, forehead comes off the mat, pull yourself forward, lie on the mat. Your hands are next to your chest, elbows reaching back and parallel. Inhale, peel off your chest off the mat, or press into your hands, straighten your hands, come into Cobra, opening your chest. Chest wide, elbows by your side. Look slightly in front of you. Don't just throw your head back. And want nice elongated neck, gazing slightly in front of your mat. Active Cobra. And then from here, start to come back into that tabletop pose. As you're coming there, you are lifting off your knees off the mat like we did at the beginning. And then pushing your hips up, come into your down dog. You can keep your heels off the mat, your knees are bent. And relax your neck, look towards your knees. If you want to straighten your legs here, if you're feeling comfortable, warmed up, you might, go into your full expression on down dog. Actually, for me, it really feels great to be in this modified down dog with bent knees today. So I'm gonna stick with this variation for a second. With the next exhalation, bring your knees down. Uncurl your toes, open the knees as wide as your mat. Exhale down, child's pose. Active child's pose. We'll do this beginner's flow one more time. Inhale, head comes off the mat. Inhale, lie on your belly. Press the tops of your feet together and on the mat. Pull your hands back. Inhale, chest comes off the mat. Press into your hands. Cobra. Look into your hands. Make sure your index knuckles and index fingers are parallel. The same position with your hands. Fingers open wide. I feel that provides more support. Without changing your hands, start to come back into that tabletop, curling your toes, lifting your knees, pushing your hips up. And then if you need to shorten your down dog, maybe walk your feet a little bit closer if you need to. Exhale. Look towards your knees. Make sure your feet are parallel. Awesome work. From here, bend your knees, look forward, start to walk your feet towards the front of the mat, keeping your knees bent. Come to stand in the front of your mat, bring your feet together, bend your knees, catch your opposite elbows, come into this rag doll forward fold. And then sway from side to side if you want to, forwards and backwards, getting a really nice release in your lower back. Stay there for a moment or two. Let me just turn up the music. So we're swaying in our more passive forward fold. Release your elbows to the side. Imagine you're holding 2 heavy dumbbells or 2 bags of Trader Joe's groceries, and start to slowly come up, keeping that roundness in your spine, and you're like rolling one spinal process at a time until you come all the way up. Awesome work. Come to stand in the front of your mat. We're going to move into one of the most well-known yoga poses, Tadasana or mountain pose. So bring your feet together, or they can be slightly apart. Lift off your quads up, your belly comes towards your spine, you're opening your chest, relaxing your shoulders, and have your hands by your side. You can tuck your chin towards your chest. If you're feeling balanced, go ahead and close your eyes. I'm just gonna pause our little rave party here in the background, because this is another centering point in your practice. So the first one was in our arrival practice, in our seated pose. This is another one. So as opposed to pure physical exercise, and don't get me wrong, I think an important part of yoga is the physical part. Through physical, we get to know our body. Through getting to know our body, we'll calm down our mind. With a calm mind, we can observe ourselves and do that inner work that's necessary for our meditation, for raising of our consciousness. So it's all intertwined. But as opposed to pure physical work, here we want to bring conscious awareness to our breath throughout our practice. So this is one of those points. Re-establish that samavritti, equal fluctuations of your breath. I'm trying to get my Sanskrit game on point, so you hear me talk more about certain Sanskrit expressions. It's not to show off, it's just I'm trying to learn. So thank you for helping me learn as well. With the next exhalation, you can open your eyes, release your hands by your side. Okay, from here, I want you to inhale, bring your arms towards the ceiling, and maybe your arms come just up to a point where there's a sticking point, after which if you want to come further up, you will feel your chest is coming up and you're curving your lower spine. So instead of doing that, instead of compensating with this, I want you bring your arms slowly up. Inhale, 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 inhale. And when you feel a sticking point, you stop there. Okay? Maybe for some of you, you have very mobile shoulders. It's going to come all the way up. Some of you, it's going to be somewhere here. That's totally fine. So upward hands pose. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, come into forward fold. This time, keeping a micro bend at your knees. Forward fold, Uttanasana. Release your forehead towards your shins. Gaze at your knees. Inhale, place your hands on your shins. Straight your arms, straight your back. Half lift, gaze slightly in front of you. Exhale back into forward fold. And then from here, I want you to bend your knees. Come into your version of low squat. It can be all the way down. Hands don't need to come to the mat. It's not necessary. But this is one version. Another version could be, hey, I'm actually cannot come all the way down, but if I use a pillow, place it in between or behind, so I can sit back on the pillow. That elevates my seat, and I can come to my low squat. The important pointer, you want your heels on the mat as well as your toes. You don't want this, you don't want this, you want this, and if it means we're all the way up here, that's totally fine. You're gonna do a little bit more work, but it's okay. Okay, with the next exhalation, fold over back to your forward fold. Place your hands on your waist. Look slightly in front of you. Long spine to come up. Inhale, 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 all the way up. Exhale, hands by your side. Inhale, hands reach for the ceiling. Don't go past the sticking point. Exhale, forward fold. Long spine to come down. You're hinging at the waist. Inhale, half lift. Press your hands into your shins. Look slightly in front of you. Exhale, back to forward fold. Exhale all the way down to your version of low squat. So if you're facing any low back pain with everything that's going on these days, sitting at an uncomfortable place, working at your computer, this pose is your friend. This is low back pain fixing 101 right here. Provided, of course, that you can find this pose and that you can find release. Use some props maybe to support you if you're a little bit elevated. A couple of books or a couple of pillows, so they support back your seat here. Okay, with the next exhalation, fold over, come into forward fold. Place your hands on your waist, and then from here, long spine, hinging at the waist, looking slightly in front of you, and coming all the way up. Exhale, hands by your side, Tadasana. Inhale, hands reach for the ceiling. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale into half lift. Exhale back to forward fold. You guys got this? With the next exhalation, come to your version of low squat. Good work, Anya. Yes, I love the pillows. Really good. That's an intelligent way of using props, And eventually, some of these muscles will get released and they'll allow us to come further down. This is I was actually reading an article yesterday called The Art of Squatting and how we lost this ability over time. This is our natural resting place. Exhale, come back to your forward fold. Get your hands on your waist. Inhale, long spine to come up, come all the way up. Exhale, hands by your side. Tadasana. Awesome work. So that was an intro into our sun salutation. Let's do a full version. So inhale, hands reach for the ceiling. Keeping this front of our body nice and relaxed. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale into half lift. Exhale, bend your knees, place your hands on the mat, step both of your feet back. Place your hands directly underneath your shoulders. Same thing, push the mat away from you. Imagine there's a wall behind you, pressing your heels into the mat. Tuck your tailbone slightly. This is a perfect Dandasana kind of setup you want to have. From here, exhale, knees come to the mat. Your chest comes to the mat. So you're bending your elbows as you're coming down. So doing kind of almost like a mini push-up on your knees. And then placing your chin on the mat. So your butt is in the air, your hips are up in the air. And then from here, you want to slide forward without changing the position of your hands. And peel off your chest off the mat, come into baby cobra. And then from here, you push yourself back. Lift off your knees off the mat, curl your toes behind you. Get your butt up in the air, exhale back into down dog. Check your feet alignment. Feet parallel, you shouldn't be able to see your heels. You can keep your knees bent here. Press the mat away from you. Or you can start to straighten your legs. You're gazing towards your knees. 3 more rounds of breath in this pose. Gonna stay here for 3 more rounds of breath, we're not moving. Nice work, everyone. With the next exhalation, bend your knees, look forward, step your feet forward. Inhale back into that half lift, pressing the shins away from you, straight back, looking slightly in front of you. Exhale back to forward fold. One more time. Get your hands on your waist, long spine to come up. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands by your side. Tadasana. Awesome work, you guys. Inhale, hands reach for the ceiling. Let's flow. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Bend your knees. Step both of your feet back. High plank pose. Let's get into a really good plank pose. Hands directly underneath our shoulders, pressing the mat away from us. Exhale, knees come to the mat. Then bring your chest to the mat. This kind of modified push-up on your knees. And then your chin. So knees, chest, chin pose. And then pull yourself forward. Press the mat away from you. Straighten your arms. Elbows by your side. Open chest, looking slightly in front of you. High cobra. And then curl your toes behind you. Start coming back to the tabletop, lifting off your knees, and then lift off back into your down dog. We are going to stay in our downward facing dog for 5 rounds of breath. Awesome work, you guys, doing fantastic. I think it's really important that today we are slowing down, breaking down the poses. Especially if you're new to yoga, you want to learn these basics right, and then this will become second nature. So when you do move to a faster paced class, you know the basics. With the next inhalation, bend your knees, look forward, step forward, come into your half lift, exhale back, forward fold. And from your forward fold, actually, I just checked back on time. Let's exhale back to our low squat. Open your knees and try to sit back on your mat. Nice work. Okay, straighten your legs in front of you. Okay, inhale, hands reach for the ceiling. So the same pose we were doing standing, now we're doing sitting. Same principles apply. And then exhale, bring your hands down actually. Place your hands next to your waist, pressing the mat slightly away from you. Let me just, while you guys are there, I just wanna lower this music volume a little bit because it's a little bit disturbing. Okay, there we go. So, coming to this staff pose, Dandasana. Again, hands by your side, lightly pressing the mat away from you. Your feet are flexed, so you're not collapsing back. You are straight, yes. Open chest, open back. Now, maintaining this posture, inhale. Inhale, hands reach for the ceiling. And then exhale, forward fold, but not going beyond the point where you start rounding a lot. There is a little bit of rounding, but you want your spine long. Do not grab your feet here just yet. You can place your hands on your shins if this is too much, but I want long spine. And then inhale back up, exhale, hands by your side. Flex your feet, open your chest, Dandasana. Inhale, hands reach for the ceiling. Exhale, forward fold. Find your sticking point, after which there's a lot of this, you want that, you don't want that. At least not in this class. Here we want straight back. We are extending to our fingertips, top of our head. And then inhale back to center. Exhale, hands by your side. Okay, ready? One last time. This time we will go for our feet, if you want so. Inhale, hands reach for the ceiling. Open chest, let's not collapse in this pose. Open chest, pressing our seat bone into the mat, pressing our heels into the mat. Exhale, forward fold. This time you can place your hands on your shins, the side of your feet. If you're grabbing onto your feet, first straighten your hands and come up with a straight spine. And then exhale, fold over. You can keep a micro bend at your knees here as well. Tucking your chin slightly. Inhale to come up. Exhale slowly to come down. Keep that roundness in your spine as you're coming down. Engaging your ab muscles. So contracting your muscles, you're coming down, almost as if you were to kind of bring your feet up, you would be this kind of, like a, what do you call this? I don't know. That's how you want your abs to be engaged. This is not really the pose, but let's have some fun, whatever. Inhale, bring our arms forward. I'm just gonna swing around. You guys can stay there. So your arms are by your side. Let's do a nice counter for our forward folds. Bend your knees. Place your feet on the mat. Your feet are parallel, no wider than your hips. Your hands are pressing down, feet pressing down. Lift off your hips. Come into a nice bridge pose. Maybe you roll your shoulders under, so you're resting on your shoulders, on your feet, and on your hands. Tucking your tailbone. Press the mat away from you, the same principle. Push the earth. You are a strong yogi. Press it away. And then exhale to come down. The tailbone touches the last. 2 more times. Inhale, press the mat away from you. Roll your shoulders under. Come into a nice bridge pose. Press, 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 press away without necessarily clenching your butt muscles. You want to keep those muscles relaxed. You're pressing into your feet and activating your hamstring muscles. Exhale to come down. And then one last time. First lift off your tailbone, then your chest reaches for the ceiling. Maybe roll your shoulders under, and this time you can even interlace your fingers behind you. So clasp your hands, interlace the fingers, press the sides of your hands into the mat, opening your chest a little bit more without losing the integrity of the pose. There's very little weight in your neck or the back of your head. It's all shoulders, feet, and if you have your hands on the floor, your hands. Press the mat away from you. Exhale to come down. Excellent work, you guys. Hug your knees towards you and maybe open them slightly. So this is same as a child's pose, just we are now on our backs. So we can keep our knees as wide as our mat. The left knee is kind of aiming towards the left armpit, the right one towards the right armpit. You're hugging your knees. However, keep your tailbone down. Your lower back is on the floor. Get a nice release in your lower back. And then bring your knees together. Straighten your legs towards the ceiling, flexing your feet. Bring your hands towards the ceiling as well. Straight arms, straight legs. We're finishing our practice with this dead bug pose. So imagine a bug on its back. This is the inspiration for this pose. The benefit of the pose is reverse blood flow. We are giving our heart a break. It doesn't have to pump all of that blood into our extremities. We are reversing the blood flow using the gravity towards our heart. And then exhale, slowly bring your feet down. Your hands and your arms go above your head, swing them forward. Open your legs as wide as your mat. Have your feet fall to the side. Open your arms to the side. Have your hands face the ceiling or face the floor. Yogi's choice. Close your eyes. You might want to roll your head from side to side, releasing any last tension you might feel in your neck. Come into your final relaxation pose, Shavasana, also translated as the corpse pose. We want to symbolically, under quotation marks, release, let go in this last part of our practice. So there is almost like we died to be born again. That's kind of the idea behind it. It just feels nice. It feels nice to round up any physical activity with the part where we are still. And we are observing what happens? What's going on? Do we feel more release? Are we feeling like there's a little bit more increased blood flow, or whatever it is? And I really like finishing my classes by bringing gentle awareness to the muscles of your face. Regardless what you do, we hold a lot of tension there, so bring the tension to the area between your eyebrows. Then bring the attention to your eyelids for a second. Try to relax, release your eyelids. Maybe imagine as if you were smiling into your eyelids. It's just using your imagination. It's not actually going to happen. Then from there, relax your tongue in your mouth. Let it lay flat at the bottom of your mouth. And then the last thing, maybe focus on the edges of your mouth. Bring them slightly up, resulting in a little smile. All these things are not there to have any other purpose than informing the relaxation response in our face. Thousands and thousands of different small muscles are working constantly when you're communicating with other human beings to express the words you're trying to convey with the muscles of your face. So there is a really strong mind-muscle connection with the muscles of our face. The same thing goes with when we have a lot of tension in the muscles of our face. It also affects our thinking, and our thinking tends to be constricted and closed off. So relaxed face and open mind. Open mind is a creative mind, is a calm mind. Okay, awesome. So you guys can stay in your Shavasana as long as you desire, as always, depending where you are in your day. For those of you that have to move, you can bend your knees, place your feet on your mat. You want to roll from one side or another, left or right, slowly at your own pace. No need to rush, unless you have a meeting that you need to catch, which I do in a couple of minutes, but it's fine, we still have time. And then bring yourself, first come into a nice fetal position for a second. Maybe sigh out a little bit. This is the first time I was moving this morning, so it felt really good for me. And then whenever you're ready, come back into a nice seated pose. The same one we took at the beginning of the class, using your pillow or sitting cross-legged. Relax your palms in your lap. Pull them slightly towards you so your elbows are butt next to your side. Tuck your chin in slightly, close your eyes one last time. Inhale through your nose deeply. And exhale through your mouth.